Definitely. Definitely.
Sounds good. Okay, so let's chat. Where you from? What do you do? Just briefly, kind of introduce people to your story. Why did you came here?
Yeah.
What brought you here? And then we'll talk about your experience here.
Yeah. So I live in San Francisco, but I'm originally from the Midwest in the USA. I came here because I wanted to continue work with Huachuma, continue the healing work, especially. I've been on sort of, I guess if you want to call it like a healing journey the past couple of years, just as sort of a lot of life things came together, a lot of stress just built up over time, sort of came to a point, and I was just like...
Sorry, keep going. I just want to make sure it's recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine,
Great. And I just got to a point where I was like, I can't live like this anymore. When you're just kind of suffering a lot in every moment for long enough, like, you kind of break. And
it's misery.
It's misery.
Yeah.
And so I started the healing journey just with like going to therapy, trying to address things in myself more consciously, recognize why, like try and figure out like why do I feel like such shit all the time, because on paper my life was looking super good, but inside it was not. And so just by self-inquiry, of course, I had a meditation practice sort of on and off, getting more serious about that, and then starting to work with medicine, both ayahuasca, Huachuma, a bit of mushrooms as well.
Okay. And then
I came here.
Okay. And then
how
is it going? How it went so far?
It went great, honestly. A lot of healing occurred. Yeah, like I kind of said in the closing words last night, really high highs, but also really low lows. But in a way, it's not even a low, because I've been in those lows where it feels like the reality of the negative inside of you hits so hard that you're just like, oh my god, like flattened almost. You don't know how to like even take the next step. But I think what draws me a lot to Huachuma as a medicine is like, you are sort of like the baby and it's holding you in its arms as you're going through whatever you need to go through. And so even though some moments here were extremely difficult and stuff got dug up that I hadn't thought about in one case 7 years, in another case 25 years, it's like, whoa, that's intense, but you're being held, so you're safe to go through it all.
Supported, nurtured.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the beauty of Huachuma. It allows you to look at your pain without being torn apart.
Yeah, totally.
You just look there, you work, but you feel safe.
Yeah, totally.
And loved.
Yeah. That's what's so crazy about this medicine is like, how can you be so devastated but also kind of feel good at the same time?
Feeling amazing.
Yeah. And it's just so, it's a contrast that you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, that's why many times I came to and reminded you, hey, look around.
Yeah.
Look at the beauty. It's all here to support you. You know?
I still
the
have
work is happening.
The memory is so ingrained in my mind. I'll never forget of when I'm just on the mat, devastated in tears. It's a gentle medicine, loving medicine.
Well, it's very powerful. Gentle is an approach.
Yeah.
It's very profound and powerful. But yes, you were like crawling.
Yeah.
I feel like, I need to go check on this guy. The medicine, like, go check on this guy. And I can't be like crawling on the mat. It's like, bro, I understand, but look at this. Like the beauty here to support you. You're still doing the work, you're still going through your things, and you look at your pain. Everything is happening. But you're supported with beauty and love, which allows you to do it, which makes it all safe, to go deep in your heart, deep in yourself, and kind of deep through stuff, like deep. things that sometimes you're not even aware of, not just forgot, never were aware. It just it brings everything. And you're like, whoa, what's that about?
Yeah.
You know?
Where'd that come from?
What is like what is that?
I had so many moments actually of that, and that's where like the resistance comes in. Like the ego is like, that's not a problem. Like that feels weird, but like that's not a problem. And then that of course makes the whole thing go even faster.
That's the excuse.
Right.
That's how we tell ourselves excuses. No, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
You know, well, look at that. If the medicine brings it up, brings it to your attention, look at that.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's,
don't rush into excusing yourself.
Right. And that's where the beauty of like, for me, my mantra is always just like, surrender, surrender, surrender. And if you really are committed to doing that, like, you will eventually arrive at the new place of where it's trying to show you. But like, it's oftentimes difficult to surrender.
Yeah, because we don't want to see some things about ourselves. That's it. It's like, if you had enough courage to look inside, you just look. It's like, bring it on.
Yeah.
Just bring it on, man. Let's get over with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we don't like to see some aspects of ourselves, some episodes of the past. So kind of, you know, trying to skip here and there, but you can't skip with the medicine. You can't cheat the medicine. You can't trick it.
No.
It's not possible, man. Doesn't matter how smart you think you are. You're not going to trick it.
Yeah.
It will bring stuff that you have to look at.
Yeah.
That's it. But for your own good. It doesn't bring things to hurt you. It just brings to help you to heal.
Yeah.
You know, and let go and move on. But you can't move on with the baggage.
Yeah.
You have to go through it. You have to look what's there. What's the thing that's holding you back in life, you know? So the medicine here to help you. But yes, of course, can be difficult because we resist. It's really that. It's like, it's really just the resistance to truth that makes it hard. If you just surrender truly to it in terms of, I'm here to learn, I'm here to heal. Whatever is there for me to learn, show me. And whatever is there for me to heal, help me heal. Whatever, you know, whatever. You don't put demands on the medicine. I'm here to heal and change. That's it. You know? Crucify me if you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
I'm sick of that. I'm sick of the life I've been leading. You know? Mm-hmm. I want change. If you come with this determination and readiness, and you will be surprised how easy it's going to be. It's only hard when you resist. That's it. It's like, that's the secret. You resist the medicine, you make it hard. The medicine doesn't make it hard. The medicine is pure love. It's like, hey, Ben, you see how beautiful it is? And he's like, yeah. There is no difficulty in the medicine. We create the difficulty with our resistance. You resist, you fight the medicine, you fight what it's teaching you. Of course it will be difficult. But it's not in the medicine, it's in you.
Yeah.
The medicine is just pure bliss.
Yeah.
Divine bliss.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if like a truly, like, what if the Buddha or like Jesus Christ or some fully liberated person took medicine? Like, what would happen? They would just, because there's no resistance
I think
anymore.
they actually took
just,
medicine.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah, I think all this, you know, in Christ case, you know, the region that they were living, you know, the ancient Israel and all that Syria thing. It's like they have the Syrian rue, which is very similar like ayahuasca. It has the same harmaline, same alkaloid that has ayahuasca. That's one of the ingredients. It could be some other thing, could be mushrooms, could be other like recipes that were used in the secret gatherings for the initiates, you know. It's like we don't know much about this. It's like what we know is kind of a watered down version that was presented to us.
Yeah.
We don't really know what happened there until you start looking into the mysteries and mystery schools and kind of, you know. I'm not trying to make this video about this. We just kind of touch on that. I think they were taking some kind of psychotic substances. You know,
like
back to Greece.
Moses and the burning bush story.
Yeah,
To me, that's
DMT.
obviously a medicine story.
Of course, the medicine story. You don't just hallucinate into seeing demons in the desert. You know, I mean, it doesn't work like that. I've been fasting. I've done everything in life. You don't hallucinate. You think about like a cucumber with salt would be nice, but you don't start seeing, Satan coming to you, and talk to things. It's not like that. So I've been fasting 16 days and 10 days. I didn't go 40 days, but I don't even know if that's true. I didn't have none of that happened to me. So you look back, it's like it's all psychedelic stories there. It's psychedelic history that was kind of, I would say, sanitized and kind of harnessed and presented in a certain way that does not lead you into this direction. But to me, it's just obvious that ancient mysteries that were practiced in ancient Greece, Egypt, it has continued through centuries. It just was very secretive and done among initiates, and yeah, so that's what it is. That's what I think. So definitely, I think, and Buddha, we don't know about Buddha too. He was India, Tibet, plenty of psychoactive plants, and you don't know what he has done on the way of asceticism when he was walking and seeking through forests, without any food. So what if he was hungry and was picking up some mushrooms there, not knowing what are they?
Yeah, could be.
I've personally heard many stories from people who I know personally who went to gather mushrooms for dinner with their families and ended up on a psychedelic, yes, definitely psychedelic journey. It's like it happens. It happens with Gordon Wasson, who through whom we know about the Maria Sabina in Mexico and all this stuff. But he's not the only guy. I knew people who did that. My clients, friends in life I met, they just told me the story. It's like, oh, that's what happened. We just went to, gather mushroom with my wife and make a dinner, and then next thing I know, I've been buried alive and funeral is happening all night, and I'm like, what is happening?
Wow.
It's just like it happens. This story shows you that things happens like this. You can't confuse mushroom, and these people know mushrooms. These are Russian people. They know mushrooms. Like they go to the forest and kind of, it is like part of Russian tradition. Mm-hmm. Just pick up mushrooms, not psychedelic necessarily. Just edible mushrooms. Mm-hmm. It's a cultural thing. It's like people go and they go with their little bags, Yeah. So it happens even among people who knows how to differentiate, how to tell which one is which, and it happens to them. So if you don't know, definitely can happen to you. So to say that the Buddha left the temple and just traveled through the wilderness and what was it he's eating? He had to fish. There's so much food you can take with you. He had to fish. He had to to provide for himself. While he's on a journey, finding mushroom in the forest and having an enlightenment experience without even knowing what it is. It could be even that.
Wow, yeah,
like it's not like somebody told him like, hey, you took a mushroom and that's what it is. It's not even that. It's like he could just pick that up. I'm not saying that will happen, but why this could not happen? Like, give me one reason, or anyone, why this could not happen for Buddha to travel through the mountains, to travel to the forest, to fish, to gather food, to provide for himself, and find psilocybin mushrooms, which grows there in this region. And then, while eating them, without knowing that they have this power, he could have enlightenment. He could have a psychedelic experience that he could not understand.
Yeah, especially if you gathered a ton not knowing what they were and took a ton.
Can you imagine, like, that's, if that happens to you, it's like, and you have all the psychedelic experience and you don't know what it is, it's certainly an enlightening experience, certainly a different state of consciousness from the normal state of consciousness that he would leave the temple. And through these states of consciousness, he could understand important things which could grow into teaching. Like why we don't talk about this? Because it's taboo. It's taboo. That's it. That's the only reason why we don't talk about it. That's the only reason why people don't think about this. Why? Because it's taboo. It's a taboo subject. You can't do it. No.
Almost as
you
if,
just meditate.
Like, it's almost as if taking plant medicine is like cheating. Like you didn't earn it by sitting for a million hours.
But that's not true. You earn every second of it.
Exactly.
Because it's so intense that a minute of this, like a day of this, is 10 years of meditation.
Yeah.
So you cover all the ground. You just do it faster. You save your life. That's it. So, and I met people who've been meditating for 20 years and they come here and nothing happened. It's like just a guy, You meditated 20 years. Have you ever experienced enlightenment? No. Maybe you reach peace of mind when you feel like more still in your head and okay, I can just breathe through life, and that's it. Like none of them, they don't achieve higher consciousness. That's the thing. I write about this and I speak about this. If they would achieve it, there would be no need for plants, and nobody would be coming to Peru drinking medicine after spending 15 years in ashram. Sorry, guys. That's just fact. Truth. If you get everything there, why would you come here?
Have you spent time in ashram or anything like that?
No, I have clients who did.
Okay.
That's the actual people who, one woman spent 15 years in ashram, other guys travel in India for like forever. Many people. Years. We're talking years. Himalayan, smoking cannabis with sadhu, meditating in the caves, like sitting on the Ganga, like everywhere. It's enriching experience. It's enriching cultural experience for sure, but it doesn't lead to enlightenment necessarily or wisdom.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
And something that makes me think about is like with the combination, because I also have a meditation practice. It, like you said, it helps, and I have made leaps with it, but with the exception of one kind of mystical experience I had by trying on my own with meditation, I think what plant medicine can really do that's great is, even if the experience for whatever reason on plant medicine doesn't stay with you so deep, at least it can give you a reference point of like what's possible for you. Like, oh, I felt that heart opening and my heart just went, or something got lifted, or something about my experience changed in a way that's meaningful or healing. Even if you come back to reality and can't quite grasp it in the same way you could on the medicine, at least now you know the reference point of what's possible, so that you can
you're no longer shooting in the dark and living in the abstract. What is what?
Or you can
you know what is what. You know where to go now, what to seek.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even just being here, I mean, it is different with the cadence like we have, but I've had the ceremonies here where I really felt a lot of energy being moved through my chest from the heart center space, like that center opening up. And then the next day, just in stillness with myself, kind of with that frame of reference, you bring it back, and then it starts happening again. So in a way, the mind there can help you if you're using it to like bring yourself back to that space of the
exactly. And when you
healing.
do medicine often enough, it becomes permanent. It becomes easier to recall, and it just becomes one state of consciousness over time. You never drop out of it. That's the beauty of repeated work for some time until you get crystallized in the state of consciousness, and it's just yours. Whether you do medicine or you don't, it's always good to recharge and reconnect. But even if you don't, it's just there for you. The connection never goes away. It dims with time if you don't maintain. Over time, over years, it will kind of become more memory than experience. But the experience will stay for a long time, that you can relate and bring back through memory. That's the beauty of it. And also, I think it's important to mention, I just had this analogy as you were talking. It's not a new concept, of course. I spoke about this in some books, and made an argument in favor of plant medicine, psychedelic shamanism. If you win a lottery today, and you don't have to work anymore in your life, and you can just live your life, do what you want, do what you love, start a business you love, just improve your life in different ways because you got all this cash you didn't have before. Did you cheat life?
No.
Who did you cheat? You just got lucky that you're no longer a slave to the system and now you can live the way you want. Who did you cheat? Same here. We're just lucky that we found a way to save decades. Literally decades. So if you are lucky and you found something that can just unlock your consciousness like a volcano and just show you and teach you and heal you today while saving you all this time to enjoy life, which one is better? Which one would you choose? Just logically, would you choose working 9 to 5 for 30 years, 40 years until you retire? Or you just win now, if that's possible, and you don't have to wait 30, 40 years in working 9 to 5 for someone. Instead, you enjoying your life today as you like, as you want. Which one is better?
It's an interesting analogy. What do you think about combining like meditative practices with medicine?
I think it's fine. It's not bad. It's like it can help you to better hold yourself. It's a practice of the mind. It's a practice of stillness of the mind. So bring your attention to a certain point of to a focus. In Vipassana, for 10 days for Vipassana, you just think about your nose all day.
Well, for three and a half days.
3.5?
The last 7, you do the scans, but for 3.5 days, it's the nose.
Okay, I mean, it's like, man,
yeah.
What happened in one ceremony with me here? In one ceremony. Like, everything. Like, everything happens in one ceremony. Your life happens in one ceremony. So you understand, like, it's okay if you feel like you need and it's helping you, no problem. I don't see a need for that. I don't see this to be necessary at all. But if you want to add, that's fine. Like, my meditation, my version of it is just laying down, comfortable on the grass and looking at the mountains and the clouds. And actively meditate on reality.
Yeah.
Contemplate reality, contemplate life, and looking inside, inward, and seeing what's there and how this aligned with the larger reality.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that, because in ceremonies here, I found times where I kind of not actually fell asleep, but kind of fell asleep during ceremony.
Yeah.
And then I would wake
Lucid.
up 10 minutes later being like, oh, I'm not showing up for the medicine with presence, so it's not gonna show up for me. And it's a similar thing where
sleeping is part of it.
Is presence.
Sleeping in the medicine is healing.
Yeah.
That's why I tell people, go sleep. Go sleep.
How does that work?
Go sleep. In the beginning, that's what I want you to do. I want you to sleep. I want you to lay down, relax, and just let go of control. And it's a lucid dreaming. You're not sleeping in the medicine like you sleep in the bed. You know where you are. You know where you are. You hear the river. You hear the birds. But your mind flies with the medicine. And during this time, the medicine takes you on a journey and heals you. And you come back feeling so amazing. So it's okay. It's a good thing. And then there is time when you need to pay attention. When you need to think and focus. You just flow with it. It doesn't make any demands on you. You feel relaxed so much. You find such a deep serenity. That's where the healing is. Your nervous system gets reset during this time. It's okay. You don't have to sit. I had some people like meditators came and just said all day. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Just relax. Like, oh, okay. And there's, oh, it's so nice. Of course. Relax. The more relaxed in the medicine you are, the more it teaches you, the more healing comes through it. You know? But it's okay to combine practices or breath work. It's fine if you need, but after a while you understand you don't need none of that.
Yeah.
All this you need when you don't have the medicine. You need to have some kind of practices to maintain some kind of peace of mind, some focus in daily life. That's why meditation, breath work is good. It's good in the daily life when you 9 to 5 job and crazy life, and you just need something to come back to yourself, to center, to some center. Of course, it's not as profound as here, but you need some kind of tools, and these are good tools for that. But with the Huachuma, it's just that, you know what I mean? It's like when you know how to fly, you don't drive anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just better way. So anyway, so maybe you want to share a few words about staying with us. What are you taking back with you? You know, what kind of transformation you think happened in 2.5 weeks?
Big question. I think one of the overarching themes, I mean, Huachuma being like a very heart-connected medicine, I definitely felt that heart space opening up for me. Not just through the medicine working through me itself, but also it bringing up different connections to people who had passed away, or deepening the connection with family, friends, or my girlfriend who are living, and really feeling like the deepest extent, or I shouldn't say deepest, deeper extent of like that love I have for them, and really wanting to like bring that heart presence back home and be able to have that love be the thing that's more in the forefront as I go about living and interacting with people. Another thing for me is, especially this last ceremony we had yesterday, reconnecting deeper with like my core and my center. When I feel like that deep grounding through the center and the core, it kind of feels like the world can't touch me as much. Like things sort of pass by me as opposed to sticking on me. Exactly. And I was really able to get in touch with that. I call it
psycho-spiritual immunity in my books. That's exactly what you described.
It's a good way of putting it.
You know, the storm, like you can be fine in the middle of the storm. Yeah. Like storm of life, when people go mad, you just stay in your center. You know, you're not happy about what happens, like during the, what happened 5 years ago. We don't need to say the word, we don't want to get banned. But, the whole world went mad. I didn't. I was upset about this, of course. It hurt us financially. Not only financially, it hurt us in many ways, But I didn't lose my mind. I wasn't living in fear. I could see through it. I remained my sanity. That's the Cactus of Sanity. The third book came during this time. So that's what you describe. It's very important. Huachuma provides you this psychological, spiritual immunity from fear, from stress, from just chaos. The world chaos. You just described it very well. The world chaos doesn't stick to you. You're in it. We're all in it, but it doesn't stick. It doesn't conquer your mind. It's there, but it's not inside. It just something happened to you in the medicine.
It's your divine. I believe it's your divine right to be there and not allow what you don't want to allow to harm you.
I agree. It's your divine right. It's like you have a right for privacy. That's your spiritual privacy. We understand privacy, like, okay, it's my home, it's my body, we understand this privacy. It's in the Constitution, and it's good that we got that far, but there is not a level to it. It's the privacy of your soul, privacy of your mind. It's what you just said. I will allow what I want and I will block what I don't. It's my right to maintain my peace. Divine right. It's not the right that the government can give you or take from you.
Totally.
It's beyond all governments. It's a divine right to live in peace. It's a sacred space inside you that you have to protect and you have the right to protect. So Huachuma brings you there. That's the whole beauty. And when it brings you there so easily, so fast, it's just like, oh wow, okay, so is this the end of the journey? No, it's the beginning of the journey. And that brings us back to the conversation, to achieve this Buddhist serenity that people trying to do for like over 20 years. That's what they're trying to achieve. Serene state of mind, undisturbed. That's what the medicine gives you, but not at the end of the journey, in the beginning. So you have so much more to discover through that state. It gives you a huge advantage. Let's talk about, let's focus on your stay here.
Yeah, the light stuff.
Just maybe you want to share a few words about your stay with us. How was your stay here?
Stay was good. First of all, just a beautiful garden and setting to be in and do the work. I didn't even really go anywhere. I just would go to the market and come back, and I'd walk here. But I didn't really want to, because I wanted to focus on just my process and what I was doing here. I didn't really go much elsewhere, and being here is a really good spot just to be in the garden, to have the space here. The room I stayed in was lovely. People here all nice and supportive of the journeys that we're all going on, and serious about working with the medicine. So, and then you as well. I'll say thank you for always being available. I mean, you've really, like I said last night, just dedicated 100% of what you're doing in your life to here. And although, trying to take weekends off, still you're always moving around, helping people, arranging this. There's no really days off for you. So, just thank you.
Entirely no.
Yeah.
Partially.
Yeah, and so I also felt supported by you in the process, knowing that if I needed to talk to you about anything,
I'm there for it.
Yeah, you're there. So
I don't impose myself. I want to remove myself from your experience as much as possible, but being there at all times when needed. It's important. It's about you and the medicine. It's not about me. I'm here to make it happen for you, to provide this opportunity for you to really do the healing. Okay, so any few words about the medicine itself? What's Huachuma for you?
Wow, what a great question. Man, Huachuma is an intimate lover. There were so many times where I was just wow, this is an intimate love affair we're having right now. Your medicine is beautiful and amazing. I think I had 2 different ones while I was here, right? The last day was something different.
Yeah, a few.
And definitely I could notice, it's all Huachuma, of course, but there's differences in each medicine and how things manifest. And that was really beautiful to see and fun to work with and be oh, today's different because this thing and that thing, and it's showing me, it's bringing me to a different place even just with the different brews. So that was cool. and just a lot of fun as well.
Okay. So what would you like to say to people who would like to come but may be afraid of the medicine?
Yeah, there's nothing to fear. I think we actually emailed a little bit about this before. I was a bit nervous of like so many ceremonies in such a close time frame. Like I'm kind of afraid of blowing my lid off a bit too far. And you said something like, no, like in fact, truth, I forget exactly what you said, but like the truth will reveal itself, and the truth is, yeah, like it's truth. Like you shouldn't be running away from it.
Exactly.
So
that's what you want.
Yeah, exactly. That's
You're coming here for this.
I'd say if you don't want truth, then don't come. But
Don't
if you
come.
want truth, then
Stay
you
home, drink beer,
yeah,
watch TV,
Yeah.
don't come.
Yeah. I mean, but really there's nothing to fear. Like I mentioned earlier, the medicine holds you even through the tough stuff, and it wants to heal you. Like that's
Yeah.
it
It
wants
wants
to
to
do,
be. It wants to see you happy.
yeah.
It wants you to be happy. That's how it feels. It loves you. It wants you to be in bliss. Ecstatic, divine bliss. What we entitled to by birth. That's what I think. It's our birthright.
Yeah.
We
Totally.
just were told otherwise. We were made believe otherwise. But really, when you do medicine, for a long time you understand that this is just your right. It's your divine right, like we have our rights here, living in society. That's the divine right. But nobody talks about it. I do.
Here we are talking about it.
Oh, we're talking about it. Sounds good, beautiful. So it's really good to see you transform during these 2.5 weeks, from nervousness and fear and not knowing what to expect, kind of being a bit apprehensive, into opening like Huachuma flower. Just, bright and bloomy. But that's the whole point of this work, is to open people up. People come very close, very, wrapped in their fears and all kinds of stuff. The work is to kind of crack you open in a loving way. You can say that.
Yeah.
Kind of unwrap you.
That's a good way of saying it.
Yeah. So I definitely see that in you. And there's like many stages to this, many layers to it. Whenever you come in the future, there will be a deeper work, but you already, it will be based on the work we did now. You have the trust, you have the connection, the baseline consciousness is already higher. You never go back. You start from here, from this place, from where you are now. So it's just kind of a spiral, vertical, ascension into higher consciousness.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben, well, maybe we end here.
Okay.
And I want to wish you all the best and keep shining the light. You're a really good guy. You have a lot of heart and a lot of love in your heart. Don't be afraid to express it. Don't be afraid to show your inner being to people. Of course, not to everyone. You have to protect it too.
Yeah.
But people who close to people who you trust, open up, and they would love you more, because you deserve to be loved. You have a good heart. But if you keep it closed, how people would know who you are inside? They only see your shell. They don't know who you are. If you don't express yourself, then what people see is just your appearance. And appearance is only a part of who you are. The whole point here is to crack the shell and bring forward your inner being, so you can live life fully with all your parts. Okay, all the best from here.
Thank you.
See you in the future.